Welcome, everyone, to Pcarmarket Live, Inside the Market. My name is David Jacobson, and I know it's been a while. It's been too long. And the emails, we appreciate you miss us, but we also apologize that we have not been able to produce a show. But I am joined once again by the infamous, infamous sounds bad, sorry. Somebody said, don't say infamous. The incomparable valuation expert, and that's a lot of pressure, Jim Barry. Thank you, hello, Jim, for waking up early and coming here. Today we're going to go through a bunch of information about the market, how it's been changing. And we'll also have some special guests, which I'm going to announce that we're very excited to have here. But first, I just want to mention, because I didn't mention it the last time and the last few times, is, we've had some people visit our California office. Some of you that don't know, we have an office in Torrance. And what's nice about the office in Torrance is that in New York here, we have a lot of people that drop cars off for photographs, and it is very convenient. We have cars coming from 300, 400, 500 miles away because of the photography. The car stays here until somebody picks it up after it's sold. So we opened up an office in California. We did a Cars and Coffee. We had a great time. Now we've been there for about 6 months. And Will Spruill is running the show there. Excuse me. And we want to let people know that that's what's happening. So it's definitely a convenience if you're selling your car on Pcar to drop it off and call Will in our Torrance, California office. And also, Jim, you didn't give me the mug, Brad. I'll show it after on post-production. But we have a beautiful Pcarmarket mug that's a must-have for your morning coffee. Brad is very proud of that, so we're going to show that as well. But before we get going with our market data and recap, we wanted to introduce, there's a show that's been going on for a few years right now, and nobody knows better how hard it is to put together an event than we do with Driven to America and the things that we've done here. And then when it catches on and you do it the way that these guys are doing it, do it right, the passion of the Porsche community just explodes. And there's no better evidence of that type of passion and creativity and putting together an awesome event than the two gentlemen I'm going to introduce. So without further ado, let me introduce to you two gentlemen that are from, you all know this, the Checked It Out, okay? And it's in Chicago. It's a Porsche event. It's going to be coming up very shortly. Adam Kern. Hello, Adam. Adam is the founder of Checked It Out. And we also have Andy Bizub. Andy is the owner of Midwest Performance Cars and the VP of Checked It Out as well. Is that right?
How's it going?
Hey.
Yes.
Gentlemen,
100%.
Welcome to Pcarmarket Live. It's a real honor to have you on here. And like I had said at the opening here, is it's not an easy task to start something, but once it gets going, the momentum of the community is incredible. So tell us a little bit about how you started and where we are today.
You're going back probably about to 2017, and so first of all, Checked It Out is named after a person that we lost, Karsten Aufgebauer, who very casually said it would be really a cool thing if we could have an outlaw Porsche event in Chicago. He had an air-cooled car built by Rocks out your way in New Jersey.
Sure.
And, it was, the car was internet famous, right? And on someone's page, I can't remember when, I wish I could find the actual post, but he made that suggestion. And that kind of stuck with me. And as I got to know him, developing a little bit of a friendship, and I said to him, hey, if you want to do this outlaw Porsche event, I'm with you. I don't have an air-cooled, or I didn't have one at the time. And, I would do everything I could to make it happen. And over the time, it evolved into just being all Porsche. It made sense to just welcome everything under the sun when it comes to the brand. And before we were able to really get those first meetings going, Karsten lost his life to cancer. So that was really around the holidays of 2017. By 18, we got to first meeting, and shortly after that, I met Andy at an event. And Andy would be the third person to join the team, and we all got rolling from there.
Yeah,
very appropriately, we met at a swap meet in January of 2018.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how the stars align for things like this? Sometimes it's tragedy, and sometimes it's just a chance meeting. But it surely was meant to be. Obviously.
Yeah, Adam, we met, and Adam expressed to me this, this interest in having a Porsche event in the city of Chicago. We're both native Chicagoans. We're both intensely proud of our city, and we're both saw the need for having something in the city because all the events would always take place out in the suburbs. So he brought this up, and I own a couple of shops, and one of them's in the heart of the city, and it really made a lot of sense to me, to participate in this, and plus, in the passion for the brand. I mean, that's really where this comes out of. Is we really appreciate the engineering, the artistry, and the passion that the brand brings.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, we're showing some video here while you're talking, Andy, and I'll tell you, Jim was at the event. We spent a few years ago. We had I think a booth there, and Jim left.
2019.
2019, yeah. And the vibe is that people can get if you haven't been there, you can see by his video, that urban, cool, artsy vibe along with the brand. It's just, what it is? It just gives you, it gives you a little chills, right? Even looking, it's like it makes you want to be there, And is that what you were looking for? And you can't plan a lot of this stuff, right? A lot of this just happens naturally. Isn't that the truth?
That is totally the truth. Things evolve over time. We maybe from the get, we didn't aspire to be like a Chicago-style street fest, but it ended up happening that way. Our first year, our footprint was pretty small. We were able to get some, free space to use and close one little street and had 70 cars, But now with food trucks and DJ music and just hanging out, we fancy ourselves a bit of a party. So. Yeah.
It's the truth, man. It looks like a party. It does.
And early on, we also realized that in putting this together and then bringing in like outside entities to underwrite some of the cost of doing it, we would be left over with we'd hopefully be left over with some money at the end of it. And we said, you know what? Let's create a 501c3 and make this a charitable event to really just give it a great basis. And we've done that every year. We started out the first year supporting a group called the 100 Club, which supports first responders who've lost their lives, supports their families. And, we had a small donation, I think about $1,000 at the end. And we've gone on to name a different charity every year, and we have a great charity this year. I'll mention it later on if you want to talk.
Yeah, I have that on the screen so people can actually read a little bit about it, and we'll. Like I had said before, as the passion driven, it's. I don't think anyone that does this from the heart actually makes money, right? And it's rare that there's any money left over anyway. But even if there is the fact of giving it to something that's very, very important, close to your hearts, really makes it even more special. So we're going to promote that, and we're going to hope that this year breaks all records for you. There's a little donate section right here. I can see here on the website. So we'll share that. But so this particular charity is what now?
So it's called Crushers Club, and it's a lady who started it in really the toughest neighborhood in Chicago. Lots of crime,
they're in the top two. That neighborhood's in the top two for sure.
Yeah,
and it's not far from my house either.
Yeah, and so I met this lady last year when we were looking at the different charities, and went down to the location she was. She basically takes these kids who have no direction. They would end up in gangs, and she has tutoring, she has mentoring, she has a boxing ring, physical fitness.
Oh, that's
basically
awesome.
Keeps them off the streets, keeps them in school with the direction towards getting them into a college or a trade school and putting some direction in their lives. And she does a ton with very, very little. And it was just so impressive,
What's her name?
Authentic.
What's her name?
Her name is Sally Hazelgrove.
Oh,
and she is just like a little redheaded spitfire. I mean, she's she's a kick to talk to and interact with, and it's totally Chicago. So that's one of the things our charities have to be very, very
authentic,
organically Chicago.
Yeah. I just wanted to just go over to this artwork for a second. every event has a piece of artwork that represents something about the show or the show founders or the creators. Tell me who did this and what does it mean to you guys to have it, as your lead, art piece right now?
So the way things have evolved over the years, actually since 2019, is I work with two artists. We do two artist collaboration per season, and I try my best to make sure it's local, and it's been that way so far. So the piece on our homepage is from Rodrigo Onate, who is on Instagram, Rocco Drillo, ROCO_DRILO. And one of the things I like to do is encapsulate a car that we know in the image, a car that's been part of our events, a car that's been, some of them have been with us since the beginning. This year it's Jake Malter's 9A1 GT3. It's I like it because it's custom. It's a car with characters. I say it's red purple, has the E88 BBSs. He calls it the Street Cup, so it's track duty and a street car.
Cool.
And just with the color and everything, we love it. It pops. And I worked with Rodrigo. Pretty much my only parameter was I want to have this car in the image, and you just do your thing.
And there's the car, man.
What resulted, right?
This is almost like it's like Find Waldo. It's like how.
Yeah.
First of all, I see a fox. I was looking at this before, and I'm trying to find out like what is hidden in here. I see a bird. I see there's some. This is very cool. This is very cool. I love the help.
The neat part about this art too is that bird you speak of on the left hand side. He was able to pull that out. We took it to another designer we worked with, and we made it with our very first grill badge. So people have been asking us for years to make a grill badge. So we got with our friends at Octoon Craft, and it's on a gold backing. We're going to be limited 100 pieces, and they'll be available at our preview party on Friday night prior to Checked It Out.
Yeah. So Brian is involved. Brian over at Octoon. Yeah, they're doing the interior of a car that we're building here right now. This hot rod. They do some nice work, and Brian is a real pleasure to work with.
Small world, right?
It's a small world. Yeah.
And Brian is very representative of us putting this, event together and then meeting him. He came in, I think emailed us kind of late in the game before 2018, said, hey, I want to come to your event. And my buddy Tony and his uncle Jay. Jay, of course, is 901 number 5. And it's just because of what we do here in Chicago and the Midwest that we were able to meet those guys. And now we're all really tight.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Route Close Rally in West Virginia, and there's no places we don't go if we can.
Well, that's really exciting. We are happy and really excited to be part of your event coming up on August 27th, right?
Right.
Is there anything that people need to know? Is it getting tickets and stuff, or it's just go to your website and what do we do?
Go to the website. We're open to the public from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Checked It Out is always a free event. The only way we're supported is by the folks who are showing their cars, and between people bringing their cars out and all the sponsor cars, we're going to be close to 300 cars. We've been knocking at the door kind of for a while, wondering about it, but it's probably quite a reality, and we're going to have some special stuff out there.
And I bet you they're coming from a little further away every year, right?
Oh yeah, always, yeah.
We just got a couple from New Jersey, I think yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's
991 GT3.
Oh yeah, and it's a very eclectic collection. I see hot rods, I see newer cars, I see 356s, and it's very, very cool. What a great vibe. I personally love that whole city scene and urban vibe. It's very, very cool. Well, I'm going to pop up the website again here for everyone to look at, and they can see. You can go through and get the information. Guys, listen, I really appreciate it. I know it's a little earlier by you guys waking up early and being our guest. And Jim is, again, excited. We're going to try to get there personally, not only just sponsor it, but I would love personally to be there and be able to walk around and meet you guys. So thanks so much for getting up with us, guys. We appreciate it. And good luck with everything.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Our pleasure, man. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for the support.
Of course. That was fantastic. All right. Glad we got a chance to chat with them. And I know did you meet them when you were in Chicago? Both of them?
Well, I definitely met Adam. I'm pretty sure I met Andy also.
Cool
It
guys.
was a while ago.
Yeah, you can see they depict, in talking to them, the vibe of the event, which is really cool.
That was my first time ever in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
Chicago.
And I gotta say, it was nice. We stayed in a really nice hotel, and the show was nice. It was very urban. It was cool. It was,
Chicago's like most cities.
Authentic. It was authentic.
Yeah. Chicago's like most cities. There's some beautiful, authentic areas in urban. There's some rough areas, and there's also some beautiful, luxurious areas. It's very, it's just for all the different parts of a city is what makes it what it is. And Chicago is surely that. I've been there a few times, and I love it. I love it there. I always said it was a clean New York City back in the day when New York was really a toilet bowl, and then they cleaned up New York, and New York became nice. We'll leave it at that. What are you laughing at? Okay. Okay, yeah. So here we are. So we're going to get to our main event.
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, well, that maybe
I call it chaos.
Maybe that was the main event. Now let's talk about. So, all kidding aside, the last time we spoke to everyone out there, the market was plateauing, and is that right? Yeah. Plateauing, and it was kind of we kind of felt a little bit of the upward pressure releasing. Now we are actually seeing some downward pressure. It's been probably, I think, almost 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks since our last.
Yeah, I say it's a little chaotic. I mean, I see like everything going on. I see like, still big sales happening. I see some sales that like reek of desperation. It's just really weird right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to describe it, and that may be one of them. But here's one thing that I want to say. Buyer's perspective, and I wrote this down, and seller perspective, right?
Yeah.
And this is very, very important because I think many of the people will agree with me is where do you stand? Are you the buyer or are you a seller? Mm-hmm. So the buyer's perspective right now is acknowledging that the market is softening and looking for deals. Mm-hmm. It could not be a worse combination to the perspective of the seller, which is in denial.
Yeah.
Trying to extend the run-up that has already lost momentum. So you have people now saying, oh, it's over, we're looking for deals, and other people are like, it's not over, it's going to keep going. The truth is there's a little bit of truth on both sides. And what we're going to do is I think we did a pretty decent job putting something together that is going to depict the reality of what's going on. Now, Jim.
Yeah.
One of the things that we started with was the newer cars. And it wasn't just Porsche, it was the fact that newer cars, meaning, 2018, 19, 20, 22, the reality of supply and demand, especially with the newer cars, is really what was at play during COVID. Supply chain issues, production issues, cars you can't get, 2-year waiting list for a Ford Bronco, 1.5 years for a Porsche, anything. Mm-hmm. And that's going to bring prices up. Okay? Yeah. So, before I show the first car, just can you reiterate on that, and what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you said it all. It's just that at the end of the day, I think that the buyers are kind of starting to wake up and realizing, gee, what's this car going to be worth when I'm at my 3-year term and I want to get rid of it and stuff like that, and people are just proceeding with caution. There are also people that just need a car, and the particular car they want requires a premium to get it, and that's fine, but we're seeing the premiums, subside. Which I think is fair. I mean, because I think a lot of the premiums are created by flippers, like we talked about in the last podcast when Sam was here. And I mean, if they mitigate a lot of that, the people who actually need these cars or they're going to buy them and be the end user can get them at a fair price and drive them like a normal person. But you get these people in the middle that are just like stealing all the money. You know what I mean? And it's creating a little bit of havoc.
Yeah. Listen, this is the cycle. Well, there's no magic here. Yeah. Like, everyone's like, oh, my goodness. I mean, how many times have we been through this in our short lives? You know what I mean? You could take 50, 60, 70 years. Cars go up. In fact, what was I watching recently? There was a car, I can't even remember. It was a documentary of a car that was released 25 years ago that was going for a premium. Oh, my goodness. I want to try it. If I can find it, I'll insert it. But anyway.
Well, the manufacturers and the banks they are doing their part to cut it down. You know what I mean? With the flipping I'm talking about. Yeah. Because, if you go try to buy a new car, like an in-demand car right now, you're put through the ringer. It's almost like disheartening. I'm going through it right now. I mean, you want to just give someone money and buy something.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're really trying to vet you, And the guy blatantly said it to me because we got introduced to something. He goes, "You're not going to flip this thing, right?" I said, "I promise you." I said, "I have a reputation.
Yeah.
I'm in this industry." I said, "You want to come?" I said, "I'll sign a piece of paper, whatever it is." They're worried that people are going to flip the cars.
Follow me home for dinner, and I'll show you I'm not flipping.
And I wouldn't do that, just like you wouldn't with, when Sam was here with your car,
Yeah. But you know what? Ironically, I'll leave it at that. The car I thought of, bing, bing, was, believe it or not, I was watching a video on a 1983. It was either an 81, 82, 83, 230, or 280 TE station wagon Mercedes.
Those are nice cars.
How about this?
Yeah.
2-year waiting list.
I believe it.
2-year waiting list when the car was produced. That's how hot it was at that time. So
what else could you buy back then?
And they were selling for a premium. At that time, they were selling for a premium. And I love those cars. We know that. We just bought one from Germany. It's going to be here in about a month. But this is how far back it was, where cars were so. And you know what? They made 199,000 of those. Almost 200,000.
There were no SUVs back then. So like that was like a wagon is such a useful car. Like they didn't have cars like that. The Americans had the big station wagons. Yes. But they were horrible, like big clunky cars. That was a great, that was a great car. That now there's a lot of choices like that. But back then.
It was almost like the Caravan coming out. I know you're going to say something funny about that, but in the marketing aspect, that Chrysler came out with the Caravan to fill an unknown niche.
Oh, and for people fake wood enthusiasts.
Yes. Whatever. Here's your jokes. I was waiting for your jokes. But the reality is that that early Mercedes wagon really was the same thing, and the same caused that same frenzy as a Caravan. They sold. I mean, how many of those did they sell? Whether they love them or not. But anyway, so the market has always been weird. Shift over? Okay, the market has always been crazy when supply and demand is at play, and that's what's been going on. So let's go into a couple of examples here so everyone can take a look. This is not a brand new car, but on the screen here I have a 2018 991.2 GT3. It actually was a no sale, okay? And the reason we're sharing this is, can you imagine this? Back in 2018, this car, the list.
The list. God, I'm sorry.
2018, the car listed for $168,000. $168,000. And 2 years ago, which makes the car 2 years ago, 2020, the car was 2 years old, and the car was selling for how much?
10 under, maybe list.
10,000 under list, just to show you the timing.
Yeah.
Okay?
And when they were new, they were doing, they got to a point where they did like 50 over, and then that settled to 20, and then it went down.
Okay, so a 2018 GT3 Touring sells for 30, 40, 50 over when it's new. Because it was a great car, hard to get, and blah, blah, blah. And then 2 years ago, the car is at list or below list.
Right.
And then 2 months ago, the car sells for 80,000 over list. Right? It goes up to 80,000 over list, and then today, with the downward pressure, the car is probably what, Jim?
It's not far away from there, but I think 230 to 240, 250. They're not going up anymore.
They're not going up. Well, that's the whole point of this. There are certain cars that went down, certain cars that have plateaued, but that pressure going upward is not there anymore. So
that's right.
This is why there's a lot of no sales on a lot of the auction sites today. Is that the reserves are high, and I know that Doug DeMora did a thing when he talked, had a little announcement where the reserves, people have to be more realistic because of the sense that they're still looking for that higher number.
It's one of those things. They say a little bit of knowledge is dangerous. Like, I don't blame sellers for, like, if I sell something, I don't want to give it away. I get that. But, they're just not, they don't get the whole picture, and they see an asking price, or they see one car sell. And
that's all it takes. That's all it takes. If you're selling something and you see some ridiculous number in left field in the bleachers from the upper left side, you're going to look at that. That's what you're going to.
I'm glad you said bleachers, because the whole thing is just be in the ballpark. You can't. People get stuck on a number. It's a disease.
I set you up for that one.
You set me up for that.
For the home run. I set you up. I threw a meatball.
You got to be in the ballpark. I mean, we talked about it the other day. There were these two GT3s on bat, and there was one that sold for like 205. And the other one sold for 193, and the one that sold for 193 was a better car. So I was saying to the gentleman I was on the phone with, I said, if you own this car, you'd want a 220 reserve because that car's sold for 205.
Yeah.
And so for less, I said, it's percentage-wise, it sounds like a big difference, but it's really not. It's not even 10% between those two cars.
No, you're right.
So,
you're right. So here's a chalk car, and this was a beautiful vehicle, and the reality is the pressure is now going downward. So it's just be smart. Some people don't care. Some people just have the money and want the car, and God bless you. That's why, some of these cars are still selling for big numbers. And then we're gonna get off of Porsche for a second. We're gonna be back to them, but we want to show you the market in general.
New cars.
New cars. So Classic.com does shows the results. This particular one, bring a trailer. This car sold for $119,000. Now
in May.
So Jim,
these are 75 grand.
These are $75,000 cars.
Startup company.
Yeah. They put this product out there, and yes, it's nice. We actually had one here. We're going to be honest with you. We were not as impressed with feeling and touching the car. No. The design's beautiful. The features are beautiful, but it's not built like a Mercedes. It's not built like a Mercedes, and I guess that's why the price is what it is. But just you have to really look, and it's not people buying cars in emotion today more than anything else, or be the first one. Take a look at this carefully. But they were selling consistently in $130,000, $120,000, $130,000 range, okay? And then recently, you look over here now, and now they're dropping to $100,000, which is now 10 to 25 over instead of 50 to 60 over, right?
Right, so it's weird because it's like it looks like a crash, but, we're still 25,000 over list. So we're certainly not in the, not to bring up the word toilet bowl again, but we're not in the toilet bowl, but the premiums are coming down. Yeah, does everyone get that? Yeah. Everyone get that? This car is selling for over list. It's not a crash. Right. What it is that insanity has been whooped, okay, and smacked down to reality, or even a lot less insanity. So supply and demand, the car comes out, I got to be the first. There's a sale, and then another sale, and then people start to be like, I'm not paying that price, and then more cars become available, and obviously that's just the way it works, right? That's the way it is. So there you go. There's the change. It was showing you the market on the cars, globally, or globally meaning all makes and models that are coming out. So now you have over here, look at the Hummer. Okay, Hummer in July. Oh, that's wrong. Okay, let's get the right Hummer here. No, I think you lost one. I lost one? You lost the high one. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry. Here. So the Hummer. Kill the suspense now. They all saw it. Kill the suspense. Nobody saw it. You didn't read that. They can't. It's very small. The Hummer, okay, here, sells for $260,000. Like clockwork. We sold one for $245. We sold one for $240. They sold this one for $260. Yeah, so Pcarmarket, Cars and Bids, selling these cars for over $250,000 ish. And by the way, you know how much they are? The sticker? What's the sticker on this car? You have Hold on a second. Drum roll, please. You have a guess? John, you're a drummer. Give me the drums. Wait a minute. And they're all white. Hold on. Oops. No, that's not. Hold on. You had it. That was not drum roll. Yes, it was. This? Yeah. Oh, here you go. Hold on. Okay, ready? In a land far away. We need a professional. In a land far away, the Hummer. Okay, forget it. I've tried this too many times. The Hummer list price was what? You don't have a guess for this? 115. Dude, close. Like 110. What do you think? I am in the business. Yeah. No, but this is an insane premium. You think I'm selling washing machines on the side? This is getting a bigger premium than the GT3s. So $115,000 list, whatever. They're getting $140,000 premiums, these cars. Okay, so you can buy two of them and have money left over for a car, like a spare car. So is the market softening, or are people just back? They got their so for something that'll be 10 grand. Electroshock. Yeah. So 260. So now you can go to the next one. So now go to the next one here. The car sells. This is where they are as of right now. 198,000 in July. And who knows? They're probably going down from there. 198,000. I saw a few crack too. Whoa, I saw a few of them crack too, but they're not getting to that 240, 250. So again, just proof here that the who has the audacity to ring the bell? Somebody's ringing our doorbell. Ring my bell. Listen, I just have to see who did that. We're just showing the market on new cars, supply and demand, how they're coming down. Again, this is still, Jim, still 60, 70, 80,000 over list. Okay, but it's no longer beyond insanity. So now another example, going to a pretty exotic car is the 2021 AMG Black Series Mercedes. Yep. These cars, again,
you'll say what the list is here. This car was selling in the low 500s.
Yeah, and actually, I want to give you a sidebar here. This is the only documented one I could find. These were actually, because we had a boatload of submissions on these. The dealers were all trying to get north of 550, some even as high as 6. So I'm going to venture to say that some of them actually got those numbers.
Yeah.
So
these are clearly selling in the low to mid 5s.
Yes.
Okay.
And and list price mid 3s.
And you got that?
Yeah.
The list price mid 3s.
Yeah.
Selling in the low to mid 5s.
But this is not as ridiculous as the Hummer, because this is a serious performance car.
And keep in mind that when you get up to exotic cars, performance cars, some cars can have a list of 500 and sell for $1.5 million.
Right.
So the world, has always been a little crazy there. But this is just another example of the changing. So now when you take, that's back in July. That's January, right? That's January.
Yeah, because these are fairly new cars.
Okay, and now you go to July and the car sells for $430. Okay.
Right. It actually started with us. We sold one for $475, which may be on the next slide.
We sold one. Yeah.
And this one sold for $430.
Yeah, $475 is when we sold ours.
Yep.
Pcar, and then it went down on a different site. I think.
And we have one ending, I think today or tomorrow, in a gorgeous color at a very reasonable.
Okay,
reserve.
so here you go.
Yeah.
The car's going for the mid 5s, and then it goes. Mecum does one in the 430s.
Right. Brand new car, 40 miles.
Okay, and now we have another one live right now. Get on there. I don't know when it's ending. If this will be live by then, but the prices have come down, and they're still premium.
Still premium.
But they're maybe a little more palatable, I guess is the word.
Yeah.
And there's the one we sold. Okay, so there's another example of the changing of the market flow. And then so now let's go to Porsche. All right, and let's get a little more current. All right, but so here's a car that and just a little bit of a heads up over here. So Spring, this car over here is a 2022 992 4S. Beautiful car with an aero kit, 7-speed. Okay,
Ceramics.
Absolutely gorgeous car. Ceramics.
It's hard to, this would be considered a top quality build.
It is. It's special.
This is not a mundane, sitting on the dealer's lot car.
No.
This out.
No, it isn't. But you know what? So a car like this, in Spring would have done about $25,000 over MSRP, right?
And the dealers were probably going to try to get 50 over MSRP.
Yeah, and they understand. So this car, if this was maybe 5 months ago, this car would have probably did 25 to 30 over, maybe even higher. Like I said, at the dealers, 50 to 60,000 over. Even an amazing car like this, with the pressure being pushed down, it's still selling for over list, but now it sells for 7,000 over list.
Right.
Now, if I'm a buyer, like we have some people that I will never pay over list.
Right.
7,000 makes it almost palatable. Like, hey, it's a little.
Yeah, like this guy got a fair shake because the dealers are still. It's like you said, they're clinging on. The dealer would not have let this car go for this price. And this car was only for sale. The guy clearly wasn't flipping it. He made no money. He paid his taxes and stuff like that. So you do the math, okay?
John, you showing pictures?
So bottom line is, this guy just he when I spoke to him, he waited so long for the car. He wound up moving into a different direction, and he took the car and wound up selling it. So he didn't profit with the situation. So I think the buyer got a very fair deal here, and the seller, actually got very close to a refund for an impulse or wrong decision, where in most cases you'd lose $50,000 for doing something.
Yeah, did you say that? This guy waited for the car a long time and his taste changed?
No, not he had said that.
He said his taste changed.
No, he did.
Yes.
Say that? I thought
he said, I waited a year and a half and my taste changed. Yeah, which is
I guess you're right.
I'm telling you.
I thought his needs changed. But
No. Listen,
you were
happens.
there. I had him on speaker.
That's maybe a triplets. I don't know.
Anyway, nice guy, and good deal for everybody. I think everybody did okay here on this.
Yeah. But there's the market.
So now, if this wasn't so special, right?
Yep.
That's the $1 million question: is this car still going to do over list? If this is just a silver 4S without the stick, without the aero kit, without the strap, just a plain regular car, maybe if it's at the Porsche dealer brand new, but maybe they're not worth, anything over list anymore, or significantly over list, or maybe this car sold a little short. I don't know.
Yeah, but this is telling. It's telling in the market in general. Okay, the downward pressure bringing things more. Again, still premium, still good, and very very strong numbers, but just that edges off, just kind of shaving off the edges and bringing things back to reality. Then getting to. A little bit of the more vintage and classic cars. Here's a 56,000 mile 83 911 SC. Let's go on record. We always say this: the nice cars, the paint to samples, the cars that have low mileage, that are very well kept, that are displayed nicely, that are offered with great photos. they really do hold the numbers. I mean,
Yeah,
even
you don't have to worry owning a car like this.
No. And as the numbers get pushed down, even years ago when the world ended with values, those good cars, those premium cars, excuse me, always did the numbers. And here's a perfect example of it.
And I think this market's shedding light on that for people. I think it's going to be better than the last, because if you remember the last time the air cooleds went up and then they went down,
Yeah.
the blue chip stuff still held, but I mean, everything adjusted a little bit. But I think people are realizing now, the only thing that's worth putting your money into to hold is the special stuff. The mistake people are making now is they're just buying anything thinking it's going to be collectible.
Yeah, here's a little caveat is that you'll notice something. The F bodies, because the buyer is generally older,
Yeah.
maybe less buyers now, I don't know, but the G bodies, in my opinion, because of a younger buyer, are going to hold the nice ones,
Yeah.
and even go up in value. That special long nose early 911 73 and older, which my heart is for those, is going to lose that specialness for the audience that has coveted it for so long.
But the fact that it's a 911 will help it. Like, because the 356s, I've seen, you've proven it, that's happened. I mean, obviously they spiked up in this last thing, but we saw the 356s almost die.
Yeah.
So the 911, you'll lose those buyers, you're right, but the fact that it's a 911 and the fact that people update them and modify them, will always be a safe
100%, but as time goes on, you're going to, again, I don't think the 911s, the early ones, come back to crazy numbers. I really do. I think the amazing, special, crazy cars are going to do big numbers, but I don't even think they're going to do the numbers that they did no matter how nice the car is.
No.
We've seen that on all auction sites and even personal sales. So, but however, this G body is still, when put it this way, when a 30-year-old looks for a Porsche 911, they're not looking for an F body. They're looking at a G body. Okay, they're looking at an SC, a Carrera. You don't agree with that?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, obviously try to be as factual as I can. You're 85% of the time, that's correct. You do get that oddball.
Yeah, 85 is pretty damn freaking high.
So I'm saying, so you're correct.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that affirmation.
Correct.
So there you go. So I think the G bodies, kind of sustain and maintain. The F bodies, I've already been down. I think they're great values. We had, go on our site even in Deal Tank and take a look at some of the values you can get on some of the F bodies. So this is a perfect example of a nice paint to sample 911 SC doing a strong number in a market that's declining. Yeah. But so that's that, and then we have over here another one, which will be again this is a different category. 964 Speedster. It's limited production, very very special car, a limited audience for a car like this. This is not as
this car snuck through everything that happened in the past 3 years, right? If you think about it, right? These cars got a little cheap. They kind of rebounded a little bit. They never got crazy expensive, and they have not moved that. Because where you find the 94 Speedster? Yeah, it's number one. And this kind of price, that's a lot of car. That's a collectible car. A lot of bragging rights for under $200K.
It is. My opinion, why this car never spiked crazy. It's a 964, yes, but that narrow body just is not a turn on.
People converted them.
Well, yeah, they turned.
People did it because you're right. Yeah, I would want a wide body on this.
And they're not real anymore once you make them a wide body. So this car is amazing. We've owned one.
It's great to drive.
It's great to drive compared to the G body, the 89, which is a great car. But that heavy turbo body with that motor, that 3.2 liter, is just nowhere near the car this is. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for this, that narrow body, which serves a good purpose for performance and agility and speed, but eyeball wise, this car really doesn't have that sexiness.
This is function over looks. So.
It is. So again, it sells for $175. And what we were saying before is that this car, again, low production, great collectability. It stayed kind of flat. And it didn't go flying up, but with that downward pressure is, again, kept this car from going higher, and as well as the other things I just mentioned.
On a side note, it's funny how the length does that, right? Because on the 356 that has no flares, it's perfect, right? The speedster, but this car is just long enough to where it doesn't, it hurts the look.
It hurts the look.
But that's what you could see. This is what they were trying to do. They were trying to make that present day version of what they were making in the 50s.
Yeah, but
it's just,
But look at this picture. Everybody, look at this picture. If you take away the hump in the back, it becomes a regular convertible. And I'll be honest with you, it's better looking. Mm-hmm. This hump does not help the narrow body.
No, it's good for a wide body car.
It's a funny looking car. A funny looking car. And I love it because I've driven and owned one, and it's a great car. Listen, quirky, weird cars are very valuable and fun to own and great. So that's why this car is always going to be collectible. But, you know, when you look at an 89 next to it, that looks badass. Let's go here to another car that sold, and one owner, let's go to the next page here. This is a 87 930. I say 930 turbo. For those of you that say, don't be redundant, 930 means turbo, we got that. We're doing this for the worldwide audience, people that are not 100% familiar. 930, which is a 911 turbo. Excuse me. It's going to, this car, gorgeous. This car's gorgeous, paint to sample. What was the color?
It was
stone gray. Yeah. What a gorgeous car. Look at that. See what I mean? Look at the back, that turbo rear. So this car, look at the number, 165. It does very well. Okay, this car sells for how much? When was this?
This was just a couple weeks ago.
Okay, a couple weeks ago. Now these cars, they're not. This is another car that I believe is very safely purchased at today's prices. Yeah. Okay, because a nice 930 paint to sample, or even not, it's just a nice 930 turbo. If you buy these cars in the mid 100s, where are they going?
Yeah, that's the sweet spot. Because what happened was they got into the twos, and then people stopped buying them. They crashed. You had a good opportunity on this car 2 years ago. You could have bought this car for like 120. You could have bought an okay one for 90. Yeah. Right? They were cheap. Yeah. And this is probably what they're worth, you know, for the time being. You know, then you factor inflation, whatever. But you know, this is a lot of car for that price.
And even today, it's a lot of car for that. Exactly. Yeah. It's still well bought and it's well sold. But these cars, that's why when you look at the market, see, I'm looking forward to who would be interested in this car 4, 5, 6 years from now. The G bodies, the turbos, and the Carreras, and the SCs, and whatnot. Those cars have an audience that may even build stronger the next time around. When you look at the F bodies and other cars, I don't think that's necessarily the case. The F bodies are insanely, incredibly visceral, fun cars. But they're narrow, and it takes somebody who really loves Porsche in a different way.
It takes an aficionado.
It takes you.
There you go.
Perfect word. Thank you very much, aficionado.
Listen, because a lot of people buy cars, you know, for image, and you know, everyone buys for different. So this car is like it's a muscular car. You pull up with this car, you feel like you're in a fast car, you're in a cool car. You know, some guy with like, you know, big muscles and tattoos is not going to drive an F body somewhere. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, it's not the type of thing. This car fits a wider spectrum of people.
You just said it. Yeah. It's an aficionado. We have a 66 downstairs that's beautiful, a black 66, and I drool over that car. But you're right. Yeah. Most people, younger people maybe, people looking for that wide body look, they would never buy that car. And that's my point, and that's a lot of people. So that's why there's segments within the segments that you have to dissect here about values and opportunities.
It's like we said, if you're a secure man, you could drive a Ruby Stone car, and that's liberating. What a shame to be afraid to drive a car like that in public.
We have a Ruby Stone RS, and we have somebody working here, which will remain nameless, that won't get into the car.
You won't even move it.
It's Ruby Stone. You won't even move it. I won't mention your name.
But I mean, that's like one of my favorite. That car, I'd be very sad.
But there's a difference. But that's actually a small example of what we're talking about here. Right. Real men drive narrow bodies.
Pink cars.
Well, that's besides the point. But real men drive narrow bodies. So anyway, let's leave it at that. Yeah. Okay, let's leave it at that. There's a good snapshot of what's happening in our world today. Again, we invite you to call Jim, speak to Jim. He gets, unfortunately, a lot of his day now is getting emailed and called from people wanting to talk, and it's there's just so much information.
Yeah, we meet great people here, though. You know, I mean, otherwise we wouldn't be so accessible. But it's you know, the people that we deal with. It's a great community here. So
we absolutely love what we do. We get some pains in the gadochkis. You know what I'm saying? We really do. And you know who you are. You know who you are. But we do love the people in the community, and we love what we do. Enter your car, not enter. Submit your car. Submit your car into Pcar. We have a lot of buyers. We have tremendous growth of our community. We need inventory, like everyone else does. You know, those of you that are on our competitors' websites selling cars, give Pcarmarket a try. I'm going to say that. I'm going to be bold, because we look at some of the numbers. It's like, hey, you can get on quick. You can get everything else probably at a higher level and get the results there as well. So give Pcarmarket a try, and I promise you, we will not disappoint you. We strive for excellence, and that's our goal in every way. So California office, go say hi to Will Sproul. We're in Torrance, California. If you have a car that you're selling there and you need pictures and so forth, Will's your man, right? And then we also have, follow us, I was told to mention, on Twitter. We are really stronger on Twitter now because Twitter is very, very important. We never really paid much attention to it. So Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I don't know what's going on with Instagram. Their whole algorithm's just wacky. Okay, but check our stories out and our reels, and we're really strong on social media because we love to be out there and hear from you and want to be involved in the community. That's it?
That's it.
Thank you all for watching. We know that you have a lot of things to do with your time, so spending it with us is very, very important, and we do appreciate it. John, thank you. Okay, and have a great day.
See you later.
See you later.